Doc, not even here. Oh, here he is. Doc, hold on. Hold on, Doc. Go ahead, Doc.
Howdy. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Happy Memorial Day to everybody out there, by the way. We got our friend Chance on here tonight as well.
Yeah, good. I'm looking for my file here. Just a moment here that I want to upload. Okay.
And folks, for all you that are watching this show and don't watch my show, make sure to stop in Thursday night at 7:30 and watch Chance's chat on Hamilton Radio 1 on YouTube channel. And also, we have a Telegram private channel. If you want to join that private channel, send me an email to chancemusic@yahoo.com. Before Doc gets his note, while he's getting his notes together, I'm going to give you guys a little information on what happened today. You will not hear about this until the 4th of July, but ladies and gentlemen, Canada is now the 51st state of the Republic of the United States. It will not be officially announced till the 4th of July, but oh, Canada, they're going to have to change that theme song to Say Can You See? Okay. So, are you ready, Doc? You got your notes together?
Yeah, let's see here. I got, let me just upload them here. I've got them ready.
Evening,
oh, they're uploading. They're in the process of uploading here. Yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of Scott bathroom paper sold up in Canada over the next few days. If you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. Oh my God, yes, I know what you mean.
Let's see. I hope this thing.
Oh, see, we got Suzanne on.
Oh, by the way, Doc, Scott toilet paper is not the best for your butt because it's all got chlorine bleach in it.
Oh, really?
And yeah, the one I found right now that's the best is either bamboo or the 365 one at Whole Foods because it doesn't have chlorine bleach in it.
Is that what they call being bamboozled?
There you go.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, I think we got
Especially
it up
for the ladies
there.
out there because that's a vulnerable area that
yes,
you don't
want
chlorine bleach on all the time or at all.
Well, another thing is that you don't want to have. Hello, Rolando Mendoza from San Antonio. Welcome tonight. So tonight we are going to talk about rest as a part of health. Let's see if I can get this thing up here.
Wait a minute, Doc, before you start. Here, if you're really going to talk about that as part of health, okay, then I'm going to buy into everything you're saying. How's that sound?
That sounds good. That sounds good.
I like it now.
Let's see here. I think I have to subtract one of these off of here. I still have a file on here. So let me get, yes, I'm going to delete medicosis off of there. And we're going to put rest on here. So can you bring that up, Doc G?
Sure. Here we go.
Okay. Rest, nature's forgotten antidote and our genetic potential. And tonight, we're going to talk about rest. And this is a picture of Chance with all of his dogs. Now, the girl really isn't in the picture there, but the dogs are all around Chance there. That's how Chance likes to rest. Okay. Rest is not a weakness. It is a design. And I'm going to, there's a frequency of activity and rest. Now, I like, we talked about the Cellerciser last time. Even on the Cellerciser, there is rest. When you're up in the air, you are resting. And when you go down, there's activation there. So there's actually a frequency between activity and rest. So in a world obsessed with productivity, hustle, and 24/7 availability, rest has become something we justify only when exhausted. But across the natural world, in the biology of the human body, in arts, in our emotional frameworks, and in spiritual traditions, rest is not optional. It is essential. This 1-hour treatise explores the vital necessity of rest through the lenses of scientific psychology, music, and a spirit-grounded evidence, not a fable. We will conclude with a fascinating real-world account of observed and natural rest behavior among beavers in Northern California. No fiction, just truth. Okay, the biological imperatives for rest. An increasing number of studies are finding that teenagers, for instance, simply aren't getting enough sleep. Now, that includes all of us. Teenagers and everybody, but teenagers especially aren't getting enough sleep, with some suggesting that up to half of all teens are now suffering from sleep deprivation. In fact, that's one of the things that RFK is emphasizing, is a change in hours of school because of what sleep deprivation does to students, because they aren't getting enough sleep. But what is it to be sleep deprived, and what impact does it have on the body? A 3A level psychology students attempt to unpick some of the evidence and discover that the situation is more complicated than many might at first believe. There was a Randy Gardner in 1964. He holds the record for the longest period of wakefulness, is held by Randy Gardner, who stayed awake for 11 days and 25 minutes in 1964. This record was set during a science fair experiment in San Diego, California, when he was just 17 years old. And, sleep deprivation is the condition of not having enough sleep. A few studies into sleep deprivation have been conducted to find the effects of sleep deprivation on the body and how long you can be deprived of sleep. Randy Gardner holds the scientifically documented record for the longest period of a human being that has intentionally gone without sleep, not using stimulants of any kind. Okay, Gardner Science Project. After the experiment, Gardner slept for 14 hours, 40 minutes, which isn't a huge amount of sleep after 11 days that he had been awake for. So overall, Gardner only made up of 11 hours of the 90 hours he lost. Surely his body would have needed to catch up on all the sleep he had missed to follow the restoration theory. Well, that is a myth, because you can't really, in truth, make up sleep. I mean, it's like trying to make up time. If you've lost time or wasted time, you can't make that up. Okay, so the restoration theory, I.M. Waswald, 1966, is a theory that the purpose of sleep is to restore the body during inactivity. However, the sleep that he did made up for a disproportionate amount of the SWS4 and REM sleep, 68% stage 4, 53% REM. Okay. The picture of results from sleep deprivation is confusing. It is often claimed that Gardner's experiment demonstrated that extreme sleep deprivation has little effect other than mood changes associated with DeMent claims that there was very little in terms of cognitive dysfunction to Gardner. This is primarily due to a report by researcher William DeMent, who stated that on the 10th day of the experiment, Gardner had been, among other things, able to beat DeMent at pinball. However, John Ross, who monitored his health, reported serious cognitive and behavioral changes. These included moodiness, problems with concentration, and short-term memory, paranoia, and hallucinations. Okay, so Apparently there's no long-term psychological or physical effects have been observed since Gardner's school project took place. Well, we don't know that because sometimes I believe that you can end up sacrificing the end of your life, shortening the length of your life by abuse. So, I mean, and loss of sleep is an abuse to your body. And chronic sleep deprivation can harm brain, metabolic, immune health. People's age 18 to 64 should have 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, according to the BHC. And I've heard that actually a little less sleep is better than more. Like 7 hours is what I've heard is the optimal amount of sleep. Another study into sleep deprivation is a study of Peter Tripp. He was a radio DJ. He did the experiment as part of a radio program to raise money for charity. Tripp stayed awake for 201 hours and 10 minutes. Man, I can't imagine staying awake that long. 8 days. Although unlike Gardner, Tripp was under the influence of drugs for the last 66 hours. This means that the study isn't as reliable as Gardner's study. He used drugs to get through the experiment as he was doing it in the face of the public. Another study into sleep deprivation is a study of Peter Tripp. Let's see, okay. He did the experiment as a part of a radio program to raise money for charity. Tripp stayed awake for 201 hours, 10 minutes, 8 days. Although unlike Gardner, Tripp was under the influence of drugs the last 66 hours. This is, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself a little bit, mainly because I put this together in a hurry. After the experiment, Tripp slept for 13 hours and 13 minutes. This also isn't a lot of sleep compared to the amount he had missed. The results from Tripp's experiment aren't as reliable as Gardner's, as Tripp also experienced hallucinations, but Tripp was using drugs. It isn't clear whether it was a sleep deprivation or the drugs causing the hallucinations. After the experiment, Tripp slept for 13 hours and 13 minutes. This also isn't a lot of sleep compared to the amount he had missed. The results from Tripp's, it said Tripp also started seeing things that just weren't there after a few days. And let's see here. That's another repeat here. Let's see here. Okay. He experienced what Randy Gardner had experienced was mood swings, paranoia, memory lapses, and hallucinations. The Stanford Sleep Research Center all observed him, and though he recovered after sleep, the psychological effects were evident, highlighting that extended wakefulness can lead to serious mental instability. And cellular repair. During rest, sleep body performs critical maintenance. DNA repair. Now, DNA, you stop and think about this. Remember, we talked about innate intelligence. There is evidence that there is something above and beyond us that repairs DNA. So DNA repair happens during sleep, protein synthesis. DNA actually zips apart. It has there's a master file, and then there are copies of the DNA, and they zip open, and they actually, the RNA comes in and assembles itself on the DNA as it's zipped apart, and that RNA goes through having a memory lapse here myself here, through the mitochondrion, and that's where your proteins are developed, and that it's like a factory, and they are actually machines. They are, they have actually done microscopic studies on it, and they are actually machines that are assembling the proteins within you, just a template. So rest is not merely physical. The mind needs rest just as the body does. The human brain, consuming 20% of the body's energy, cannot function optimally without downtime. Then there is decision fatigue. Who in this room tonight has had decision fatigue that we know of?
That would be me.
And
That
me.
is you. That is why Chance many times on his program says, I can't take it anymore. He says, I'm tired of hearing this. I'm tired of hearing that. It's because he's been overloaded and overwhelmed to the point of decision fatigue. You just cannot continue on doing at a certain pace without rest, without a period of rest. Burnout, mental health. Chronic stress without adequate rest leads to anxiety, depression, and burnout. The World Health Organization classifies burnout as a syndrome resulting from unmanaged chronic workplace stress. Restorative practices, mindfulness, meditation, nature walks, journaling, and digital sabbaticals all provide mental rest. Studies show that even brief walks in nature can reduce rumination and activity in the subgenual prefrontal cortex. That's up here. That's behind your forehead, associated with depression. So many times, a lack of sleep, lack of rest, lack of ability to just meditate a little bit, just back off, and is related to depression. So let's see here. Musical rest, silence as structure. Now, Chance can tell us about this. In music, rest is not absence, it is form. A musical rest, a deliberate pause, is as crucial as any note. Beethoven once said, the music is not in the notes, but in the silence in between. Rhythmic balance. Without rest, music would be chaotic. Silence shapes rhythm, gives structure, and allows emotional pacing. You have any comments on that, Chance?
Yeah, I can tell you. If you want to put me in a very relaxed mood, there is one. There's one CD CD I could put on, and it's Don Henley, and it's called "The End of Innocence." And if I'm stressed, if I put that CD on, it just completely changes me. I could sit anywhere, literally anywhere, and I could go to sleep. Even sitting upright at the table, I could, put my head back and go to sleep. There's something about that CD in particular that puts me in a very, very relaxed state. And I found it wasn't just that CD. Don Henley has another CD called Inside Job. And I just lost it. I had it and I was listening to it, and I got to find that CD. I was just addicted to it because it went from one song to the next, and it was just like it started. You started out here, and it just gradually next song and next song and next song. You just your relaxation level just increased so much, and people do not know the healing power of music. And now, this isn't heavy metal by any means. Don Henley was with the Eagles, but and by the way, I heard he's 79 years old. Is that right, Doc?
Yeah, I believe so.
Holy cow! He's older than me. I thought I was older than dirt.
A lot of the heroes in the music.
But anyway,
you're 80 years old.
I'm telling you, Don Henley's arrangements are different than anything else out there, and his old stuff is fantastic. I don't know any about I got 3 CDs coming to me. I was talking to my friend. I don't listen to Don Henley no more. I don't like him. Well, I said I'll take them. He said he's got them in the mail to me. So I've got 3 CDs coming in by Friday, and I can't wait. Your mayor of rock and roll would it would be interesting to have him talk about Don Henley, because Don Henley's musicians and style of recording is so incredibly healing. the music is healing. I could have a depression, I could have over nervous or whatever. It doesn't matter what my mental state is. I put on that Don Henley, and it changes me. And if you could have a meter on my blood pressure, I'm sure my blood pressure goes down too. But that's what I got to say about that, Doc.
Yeah, that's a whole another area that I didn't get into, was how relaxing music is and what it can do literally to your brain, when you're listening to it. What I was really referring to was the rests within the score of music, causing, music to happen, because without those rests, have you ever tried playing a musical score without rests in it?
Well, yeah, that's very interesting that you say that, Doc, because the Grabavoid code, the one that I refer to, 520-741-8. You notice I didn't say 520-741-8. I said 520-741-8. The pauses in between the numbers is just as important as the numbers. It's a prayer. So,
that brings up
there is something to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. The pauses, the rests, it's all part of the healing. Absolutely.
Yeah, even in conversation, there has to be rests. The more rests, the better, because then you can exchange conversation. Have you ever talked to somebody that just wouldn't shut up and just kept going on and on and on, couldn't get an edge in, get a word in edgewise? Yep. Even in our conversation, we have to have pauses and rests and so forth. So, okay, the next is that tension and release. Rest builds anticipation. They give space for the listener to process the sound. Have you ever, there are musical pieces that I just absolutely adore. I love piano just about more than anything else. And to hear some of these masters play, and I just listened to a breakdown on Claire de Lune. That's one of my favorite songs, by the way. And just to hear how it's all structured together with pauses and rests in it, which really makes, if it's played incorrectly, there are overtones in music that if you don't time it correctly, it sounds terrible. And it's simply because, if you strike a piano key, there's vibrato in that, a slow vibrato in that piano key. And so if your timing is off, it doesn't sound as well as when there's proper rests in there. Those rests are designed for the frequency to work emotionally on us. There's a beauty there that is caused by right timing. You see, and this is what's important with having rest. There's a beauty of life that comes from having proper rest, right?
Yeah, I get it. There sure is.
The musical principle applies to life. Without pauses, life becomes noise. So then there's the spiritual and cultural perspectives on rest. Nearly every ancient culture enshrined rest. The Sabbath in the Judeo-Christian tradition, the seventh day is set aside as a day of rest. Genesis 2:2 describes God ceasing from all work, establishing a sacred rhythm. And the purpose of that rhythm is to create the beauty in your life. In fact, the Jews regarded the Sabbath as the queen of the week, and just all the rituals around it, and the resting and sacredness of those hours, and in Buddhist culture, mindfulness, emphasizing pausing, breathing, and non-doing, cultivates awareness and presence. And of course, indigenous wisdom Many native traditions honor rest and dream time as sacred. Time in nature, unhurried and open, is viewed as necessary for harmony. Now, I grew up reading the books of Sam Campbell. He was known as the philosopher of the forest, and he talked about the spirit of the wilderness, and the importance of getting out into nature and literally experiencing the spirit of the wilderness. And he was very much involved in conservancy. He was probably one of the first people to advocate taking care of nature. Very involved in the Canadian canoe country being set aside, the Boundary Waters canoe area in Canada and the United States. It's kind of a memorial and set aside for canoeing. You're just not supposed to go in there without anything but canoes and so forth. So, but let's see here.
I could see where the rhythmic motion of the oars, when you're canoeing, I could see how the rhythmic especially if it's one man one side, that would be impossible to keep the pace. One man keep the pace without falling off to sleep, because you're basically rocking yourself to sleep when you're canoeing by yourself.
No, you're not falling asleep when you're putting effort in it. I'll tell you, it takes effort.
Let me tell you something. If you put me in that canoe, I'm gonna fall asleep.
Yeah, well, I've been in the canoe country, and I know what I'm talking about. You want to sleep when you get to shore. I'll tell you, when you get to your campsite, you're ready for but it's a blessing. Okay, so spiritually, rest is more than recovery.
Nature's surrender.
It is surrender. It acknowledges that we are not the center of the universe, and that replenishment often comes from beyond ourselves. Number 5, the power of nature and vacation. One of the most potent forms of rest is stepping away physically and mentally. One of the most potent forms, nature's healing effect. Studies from the University of Michigan show that even a short walk in nature improves memory and attention by 20%. Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, is a practice in Japan scientifically proven to lower cholesterol, blood pressure, and heart rate. The necessity of a vacation. Research by Project Time Off and Harvard University Business Review shows that people who take all their vacation days have higher productivity, job satisfaction, and even better performance reviews. Vacations aren't indulgences, they are recalibrations. How long has it been since you've had a vacation, Chance?
You really want to know the truth? 8 years.
Pardon? 8 years, okay.
8 years. 8 years.
No wonder all your tubes are burned out. No wonder all your tubes are burned out.
Oh man, I'm telling you what, I'm fried rice. It takes me 2 cups of coffee and I don't know, to get going. But once I get going, I'm going pretty good. Once I get going, I'm going pretty good. But 4:35 in the afternoon, I'm in the same position I'm actually in right now. So,
wow.
You want to know about me? I'm about 15 years without a vacation.
15 years, wow.
Day trips when the kids were young. That's it. And then work, home, work, home, work, home, work. That's it.
Yeah, shame on us. Shame on us. Mine's been since 2017. I went all over the West. I went to Idaho, Washington, Montana, South Dakota, Went to Idaho, Colorado, Nevada, California. I mean, I went all over the place. I rode on that train at Durango. I rode on the steam train at Durango. And was that ever a blast?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I tell you what. And so, I mean, and you know what? Sometimes you can just take a vacation with your mind. You know, just remembering the good times that you've had in your life, remembering those things. Those memories are important too, especially if you have someone to remember those things with. Okay, conclusion, the Seventh-day Beavers. Perhaps the most surprising example of rest in nature comes from Lauren Cole, a filmmaker and nature observer who moved his family to Northern California. Over 17 years, they observed a beaver colony in the wild. What stood out? Every Saturday, without fail, the beavers ceased their work. No building, no repairs, no travel, just rest. It's like they go into their beaver houses and they hibernate for 24 hours. He studied them for 17 years. There's a video called "The Seventh-Day Beavers" on YouTube. I invite you to watch that. So anyway,
it's pretty fascinating.
Well,
Doc and I sat down and watched it together. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Cole documented this in the video entitled "Saturday Sabbath Resting Beavers." Though not a controlled scientific study, the consistency of behavior over nearly 2 decades provides compelling anecdotal evidence of an innate rest rhythm that seems to align with the 7-day cycle observed in humans. Beavers don't read calendars, that somehow these creatures followed a weekly rhythm of 6 days of activity and one of stillness. It raises a question: is there a rhythm of rest written into creation itself? And, he also mentions in there that he would never have noticed that had he not been previously told about bees doing the same thing by someone who rented his garage for a while. He was living in Southern California at the time, and among some orange groves and orchards. And the other guy renting his place says, he says, I've noticed that bees are here active every single day except one, and that's on Saturday. Well, he noticed that, and when he ended up moving up north, then he noticed that with the beavers. So is it possible that there's this rest is built into nature itself? What's your thoughts about that?
Well, after seeing the beaver video, which we watched, I don't remember, was it 3-4 years ago? We sat down and watched that. It was just absolutely blew my mind. I mean, they don't have no calendar. They don't know what day it is. They don't wear wristwatches, But to see everything go calm on, especially on the Sabbath, Saturday is the true Sabbath, by the way, for those of you that don't know. And Sunday is the Catholic Sabbath, not the real Sabbath, okay? So that's just a little information from me. But yeah, the beavers are just absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Well, that's kind of what I had to present here for tonight. And we got by that in a half an hour. So
it happens sometimes, Doc. It really does.
Yeah. Well, I guess that now that, let's see, I'll take that. Can we take that down,
Sure.
Doc? And basically, let's just talk about how all this rest relates to our health. Pardon?
What oil? They said they missed the oil. What oil? What are they missing?
Yeah, Suzanne, I'm not sure.
She's probably talking. I talked about the YouTube on YouTube or on the Telegram. On Telegram, I was talking about that I wanted you to talk about that oil that we're going to put on our feet.
Okay, it's actually First Defense. It is actually known as let's say how info on removing parasites. Okay, we're going to actually do a special show on parasites. So let's probably do that next time. I'll talk to Marvin about that and see what we can come up with about removing parasites, because that is really a biggie and really important stuff. The essential oil that I use every day is First Defense. Now, Longevity got its oils from another company that joined them. So they have all the premium oils, all the rights to all the premium oils in Europe. And on our website, getdocsminerals.com, there is a section in there under Dr. Wallach that has to do with using essential oils, how to apply them, how to test yourself, and things like that. And the thieves' oil was used by thieves back in the Dark Ages when the Black Death was around. These people would just bury them real quick with all their jewels and everything on them. And thieves would come along. They would put a handkerchief over their mouth and nose, and they would put thieves' oil on it. Those that did that didn't contract the Black Death. So thieves' oil is called First Defense. I use that and Breath of Life, Longevity Breath of Life. I use that every single day, and it really helps me with a lot of things. And the oils actually, Suzanne, the original oils from Young Living were lost to Young Living in a divorce where his wife started up a new company, and that new company joined Longevity. So that's where we get all of our oils from. We have the rights to all those. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, essential oils are. I'm not the big expert on them. I just use them. I know that when Marvin and I went on our trip out east several years ago, we went lecturing around different. We went to Pennsylvania and Virginia and Massachusetts, and we went to Washington, D.C. I got to see the White House, and we went to New York and lectured there in the Finger Lakes areas. That was very interesting. We went lecturing to the Amish up there, and I'd never been in that area before, but it was. But anyway, on the way out, both of us got sick. Okay, I just don't usually get sick, but somehow I ended up with nausea and a really bad cough, and we got to his sister's house, and of course Marvin had some lemon essential oil. He says, "Here, put this lemon essential oil in hot water, and with a tablespoon of organic honey," and I took that, and it just killed the nausea. So essential oils, you can apply them to the bottom of your feet, to your navel, and you can actually, Longevity has a thing you can clip in your nose where you can put that essential oil on there, and you can actually breathe it in, and it going into the back of your nose goes right into your nervous system, and really has a positive effect on you. It's great stuff. I mean, it's, they have, we use the peppermint oil. We have people put the peppermint oil in the, when we spray our bodies with the minerals. I've had Marvin and his wife have been doing that for a couple of years now since I told them to do it. Because you put it in the plant-derived minerals in a spray bottle. You can go down to Lowe's or to Home Depot and get one of these 1-quart spray bottles and put it in there, and put a couple drops of peppermint oil in there. The reason we do that is simply because it tends to make it, just absorb into your body better. And believe me, it makes a huge difference. Spraying it on your skin, get as soon as you get out of the shower, after you dry off, spray every square inch of your body with that, because you can literally put that, put the minerals straight into your bloodstream that way. And it's one of the most wonderful things you can do for yourself. Chance is an advocate of that as well. He's been harping on that subject for a long time, and it does. Have you tried that, Doc? Have you tried the spray?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All in good time. It's one of those things you just kind of discover after a while. If you have an ache or a pain, believe me, it's nice to spray that on there, and then just within a short period of time, your body does respond to that, because those minerals affect your DNA, and every cell in there has to have these minerals to function adequately. Remember, we talked about how the DNA has a master template where, in there, and there are replicas of DNA in there that zip apart, and the RNA they call messenger RNA. This is what they were messing with when the shots came along, which is terrible, because it really messes people up. This is why there's all these spike proteins, because of the fact that they have messed up they have gone in, and it's just like let's say we took a watch, with all the gears and stuff, and let's just say we sprinkled sand into the gears and then expected that watch to run. That's essentially what they're doing with these with these messenger RNA vaccines. They are monkeying with creation. There's a creator that's out there far more intelligent than anybody can ever come up with. And by the way, if you need to contact me, for those that are on just the radio, go to getdocsminerals.com. And if you want information about the oils or anything else, healthreform90@gmail.com. That's HEALTHREFORM90@gmail.com, or 406-270-3754. Text me. That's 406-270-3754. You can text me at any time, and I can give you answers if you have any questions about your health and so forth. And of course, and just want to recap the things that we've covered in the past. We have covered many things. We've covered. We had a guest last week, David Hall, on the rebounder, and we've have some individuals. One has already purchased one that I know of and is starting to use it. With that rebounder, we recommend that you start with baby bounces for at least the first 3 months. I don't recommend, getting in there and overdoing anything. He does have a program for your tablet or iPhone where it will tell you what to do, for how long to do it, and how to work yourself gradually into more strenuous exercises, because all of us want to have better health, and it's really, really important to do. Exercise is, the other side of rest, because you've got to have exercise. And if you intersperse it with rest correctly, one of the things I was thinking about the other day is that you notice that the universe is built on the numbers 3, 6, and 9. Tesla would not walk into a house without walking around it 3 times. And, the 3, 6, and 9 are very important things in the universe. And the creation was done in 6 days, which is 6. And then God rested on the 7th day. So we have 6 and then a rest, another 6 and a rest. So that's how the rhythm of the universe is set up. So anyway, your thoughts on that, Doc G?
Well, I was going to say, even God had to rest, because if if God didn't, where would we be? We be? It's just incredible what he did in them 6 days, and then rested, and then came back again. So just remember
Yep,
that.
that's right.
I couldn't get that.
Well, you stop and think about it. Each of these, we were talking about essential oils. The essential oils actually put a resonance. There's actually a frequency to these oils. Some are much more, have much hotter oils than others. And you have to be careful with how those are used. Some of them you cannot take internally at all. You're not supposed to. And of course, Longevity has instructions with all their essential oils. And I think they send a little placard along with it to tell you how to use it. Some oils are not to be taken internally at all. Some of them you can, like lemon oil. There's no problem. You take all of that you want internally. I've had up to 15 drops a day or more. It doesn't hurt anything. It's good for your stomach. It will actually counteract. There is a bacteria that Helicobacter something that causes ulcers, and the lemon essential oil will actually help fight that, and so will raw honey. Raw honey is really important, with that. So
was that H. pylori you're talking about? H. pylori
bacter,
yeah, that's really bad. That they say that can really mess up the microbiome in the in the stomach, and throw the.
So it's a good idea. Yeah, it's a good idea to have that. If the two essential oils are there's about three. I'll tell you what. There's another one called trauma oil. Now, Marvin tells me that his wife was boiling something. I think it's corn or something like that, and somehow she got boiling hot water on her left arm while they were canning or were doing whatever they were doing. And he immediately put the trauma oil on it, and she had no problem with blisters or anything after that. And the next day, they had such good results with it that, well, maybe, it wasn't so bad after all. She had a little splash of it on her right arm, just a little tiny splash of it. And they didn't do anything. It got infected, and they really had to work to get that under control, apparently. So sometime I'll have Marvin tell the story about that. But essential oils can help, I believe, fight parasites as well. So, there are many good uses for them. Clove bud oil is great. They have eucalyptus. They have which is tea tree oil, basically. Tea tree oil is what I think what that is. No, I take that back. Eucalyptus oil is completely different. There's tea tree oil, eucalyptus. They have I don't know how many oils they have. They have a whole bunch of them there. I mean, I don't know what some of them are all for. I know the Breath of Life is really good for clearing up congestion in your, like for instance, if you have either for your upper or lower respiratory, it's great for that. Works for it really well. So, and of course, these are not nutrients. These are a natural remedy, and it's quite a science to use it. So anybody has any questions on that, we have education on the website about essential oils, on how to use them and so forth. And we can go from there.
Sure.
Did Chance leave us for good?
He had an issue with the internet, he said, so he had to leave.
Oh, I see.
It's just you and I. What's your thoughts on black seed oil? Oh, cumin oil. Yeah, that's actually.
I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to look it up, just like anybody else. I'd have to look it up, and I think that the Longevity does have black seed oil. I think some of these are carrier oils. Longevity has carrier oils. It has Grapeseed oil. It has, trying to think of them all. If I knew I was going to get into essential oils tonight, I would have had done a little more study on that. We can do
It always goes that way, Doc, no matter what you do.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, another aspect that longevity have is good herbs. Now there's one that will increase lymph circulation. There's one that I use all the time that it's called hypothalamus support. A couple drops of that in your tongue will wake you right up. Does for me. And the reason that is because one of the most ignored things is the thyroid stimulating hormone that's produced by the pituitary. Sometimes we think it's a lack of iodine, for a thyroid. And of course, if you have a lack of iodine, then what you take is the ocean's gold, which basically puts iodine in your system that's usable. You can't just go down and get a bottle of iodine and swallow it. I mean, that's not going to work. That could be actually harmful for you to try to do something like that. But this ocean's gold has iodine in it that is your body can assimilate it, and it goes to the thyroid. But the hypothalamus support, the herbs that actually stimulate the hypothalamus, and I don't know if it's a stimulation or if there's something. We should have, I'll tell you what we should do, Doc. We should have a night where we have Brett Bashawati on here, and he can explain the good herbs to you.
Good.
So we might do that next week and get a little more information for everybody.
Well, Doc, we're almost out of time. So any last thoughts?
Yeah, the takeaway from this is the importance of rest. And if anybody wants more information on the Seventh Day Beavers, let me know. Text me and say I want some information on that, and give me if you'll give me your email address, or if you go to getdocsminerals.com and then text me and say the reason I contacted you, I want some information on the beavers, I'll send that to you. Okay. But you can look it up on YouTube. It's Seventh Day Beavers. Just look up Seventh Day Beavers, and it's there.
Sounds good to me, Doc.
You're welcome, my friend. Thank you so much. Just make sure you consider resting. And those of you, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Rolando. And if you'll contact me, Rolando, I'll try to give you some more information ahead of time. We've got to cover parasites. We've got to cover essential oils. We've got to cover good herbs. There are some some good herbs that help fight parasites as well. One of them is called antimicrobial, and the other one is super olive leaf extract. So those have very beneficial effects on the body. These are some of the top herbs in the world that are produced. So, and from that, we will be glad to help you out. So, getdocsminerals.com, 406-270-3754, or healthreform90@gmail.com. And with that, I'm going to say good night.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.